good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. However you're watching, wherever you're watching, however you're listening, wherever you're listening, it is the Bet Online Salute to Troy podcast, and happy holidays. Merry Christmas to all, happy Hanukkah to all, and Ryan, happy Kwanzaa.
Happy Kwanzaa, my friend.
Today is the first day of Kwanzaa. Actually, Ryan, my parents went to Long Beach State, and they were telling me that I guess my dad had class with the professor who invented Kwanzaa at Long Beach State.
Yeah, wild.
So,
He's the chairman now for African Studies at Long Beach State, where I went to college. Pretty cool.
There you go. So, happy Kwanzaa to those who celebrate Kwanzaa. Happy Hanukkah to those who celebrate Hanukkah. Happy Merry Christmas to those who celebrate Christmas. And if I missed you, merry or happy, however you say it in your religion. So we'll cover all bases.
Love it.
So, it's Holiday Bowl, Ryan. It's not where we wanted to be. It's not where we expected to be, but we're here. We're happy to take a bowl game. But this is an exciting game. Before we get into that, over the holidays weekend, while we're off with our families and taking a little rest from LAFB, we got some exciting news from across town. They realized that they were not at a very quality school and they wanted to come over to a quality school. You want to go ahead and announce that news for us?
Yeah. So, right before Christmas Eve, I guess it was Christmas Eve, I was doing my family Christmas in Colorado. So I was like, oh, of course this has to break when I am busy, but we're able to get something up. But elite safety, Kamari Ramsey, who is I believe a redshirt freshman. So, a lot of eligibility left. He'll be great. And John Humphrey, also, who really progressed as a corner with DeAnton Lynn, local kid from right here, John Muir High School here in Pasadena, also transferring. So both two secondary kids from the Lynn, I guess I wouldn't say tree, but coach under Lynn at UCLA, now coming over to USC. So big gets for USC on defense, move their transfer portal ranking all the way into the top 10. And so, you're seeing what Lincoln Riley is doing, at least on defense, through this offseason. It's been great. Those are probably two of the strongest gets so far.
Ramsey's from Pasadena also?
He's from SoCal. I don't know if he's from Pasadena. Let me double check that while you're talking.
Okay, so the thing I like about this, and me and Jamal talked about it, when we never even got to the DBs. It's when we were talking about a transfer that came in. It was a transfer show. I can't even remember now. We've done so many shows. It's been such a great year, such a long year.
And just to add, Ramsey went to Sierra Canyon.
Okay. So me and Jamal were talking about this. And I was talking about how, I think it might have been we were talking about DeAnton Lynn. Maybe. I don't remember. Don't quote me on it. But I was talking about how with Ramsey coming over because the rumors were happening and the depth of the defensive backfield, that with Damani Jackson and Ramsey and how they are able to become a very good defensive secondary, how they were the first year and create a lot of turnovers and be very opportunistic. So that's one of the things we were talking about. Well, Damani Jackson unfortunately transferred because everybody knows I'm a big fan of him. I'm still a big fan of him, and I still hope he gets the opportunity to go to the NFL and reaches his potential. But with a safety experience in the defensive scheme that's played as well as he played as a redshirt freshman, if he still, and I don't want to make this sound bad, if he still has upside and he hasn't reached full potential, then this is a great move. This is a great move for SC because now they got the corner from Oregon State. They have Ramsey, the safety. They have the kid you just said his name. It slipped my mind.
John Humphrey.
John Humphrey. John Humphrey is a corner, right? Or he's also a safety.
So Arnold from Oregon State will play safety most likely. So you'll have Ramsey and Arnold in the back end, and then Humphrey up at corner. Yeah.
Right. And then you find another corner. Not Not even in the portal. In this situation, you could actually get a guy off your roster that's young and you could protect him.
Yeah, I like Jacoby
Very
Covington. I thought he had some good stuff this year, so he'll be looked at.
Yeah. So the fact that he knows the playbook and the fact that he could play fast, both of them know the playbook and both of them could play fast, changes the whole concept of defense. Like, this puts us in potential to have another 16 turnover. What was it? 16 interceptions that year, the first year.
Yeah, double digit.
Right, 16 interceptions and a very opportunistic defense. The good thing about and this was the biggest difference between last year and this year. The turnovers.
Yep.
The reason why I believe they were so successful that first year, it's because they had so many turnovers and they gave Caleb Williams and that offense so many more opportunities playing, right? Last year, well, this past season, or this year, there wasn't a lot of opportunities, extra opportunities for Caleb Williams, right? Or for the offense.
Yep.
That's the biggest difference. I feel like with this defense that they're bringing in a defense that's going to create more opportunities for the offense. I'm not going to name a starting quarterback yet, and we're going to get into what we want to see tomorrow night. But I'm not going to name a starting quarterback. I'm assuming that the job is wide open. That's what I'm going to go with. So, it's just the fact that they're setting themselves up to create more opportunities. And I'll say this again. I think Lincoln Riley's doing a very good job. I still don't know if it's motivation or if it's a threat. That's the part that scares me. And me and Jamal had that conversation. I think it's when you was back east. We don't know if it's motivation. Jamal think it's 50-50. I don't know. But like, was it a threat that came, or is he really motivated to really move this program? Mm-hmm. So yeah, I like the move. I love it. I think that these dudes are gonna make the team better. I think they're going to bring in some sort of leadership, because I think that's another thing that's lacking is leadership. And here's the thing too, Ryan, you're going to get them for at least 2 to 3 years, right? So that's another plus. We're building culture. So I'm all for it. I appreciate it. I love it. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, Ramsey was the number 2 safety in the transfer portal, and like you said, brings in the ability to build around. You know, when you look at the transfer portal, it's you're no matter what, you're going to have a couple 1-year rentals just because of the nature of how the portal works. But getting a guy like Ramsey that is, at least going to give you 2 years, I think, because he'll need to play 2 more for eligibility.
Technically, he only needs to play if he was a red shirt. He only needs to play 1 more because he'll be 3 years out. Yeah.
True. So technically only 1, but you have the ability to build around him for more if he chooses to stay. And then I think Humphrey, what was great about Humphrey was seeing his progression under Lynn from last year to this year. It was a huge jump over at UCLA, his improvement. And so I think he can even jump further, because he was a fairly highly touted recruit coming out of John Muir and just never really reached that potential at UCLA until this season. And so if he can build upon that and bring some stability, and like you alluded to, the fact that both these guys know this system is huge, because everyone else is going to be learning it from scratch. And so you have some guys on the back end that know it, is going to be great. So I was really holding out that Kalen Bullock would come back 1 more year. He didn't announce till over Christmas break, basically, that he was going to go to the draft just a few days ago, because the thought of having Ramsey, Kalen Bullock, and Arnold as your back 3 rotation with Jalen Smith as your nickel back, and then obviously Humphrey and Jacoby Covington and others at corner, I thought it was a really, really improved unit. Still is going to be good with Arnold and Ramsey back there, and Jalen Smith still being that nickel back that I think is not getting a lot of talk. I think he's a guy that, going into the offseason, Coach, I think we'll talk about more, and heading into next year as a guy to look for as being that, to make that big leap on the USC.
If we ever get to the DBs.
If we ever get to the DBs, which we will after this bowl game. But I think with Lynn's tutelage, with Coach Belk coming over from Houston, I mean, he's a guy that loves USC, loves this program. He's great with the media. He's just a great young kid, and I think he's a guy that I'm looking for. But anyway, going back to Ramsey and Humphrey, huge get for this secondary, huge get for this defense, huge get for Lincoln Riley as they continue to build out. And yeah, as you said, I mean, he said after the offseason he was going to do whatever it took to make USC defense a great defense, and that's what it's all been about. I mean, you look at all the coaching hires, all the transfer, it's been all defense. And there still needs to be some cleanup on offense. Obviously, we'll talk about quarterback, but the focus has been on building out this defense, and I think they've done a really good job so far.
I don't think there needs to be cleanup at quarterback. I think there has been a great competition created, right? And
right now it's no competition because there's only one on the roster. But yes, it will be a great competition.
Right? Yeah, but let's and we're going to find that out tomorrow. Let's leave on that cliffhanger. And I just want to let you guys know that Salute Your Chore is brought to you guys by Bet Online. We're in the middle of bowl season. Christmas is over. So if you want to start your new year off right with a perfect parlay and get a little bit of extra cash in your money, go to betonline.ag. You get all up-to-minute odds, stats, updates, best lines, best wagers. That's betonline.ag. Put in promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, and you'll get a 50% welcome bonus. BetOnline, where the game starts. It's Miller time, Ryan. we got the they sent us the packet. It says it's Miller time. It's in all capital letters. Miller Moss is getting his first start. I'm excited for this. I've been a Miller Moss fan since last year. It's and things happen. True Trojan stuck it out. He's didn't enter the portal, right? As of now, he hasn't entered the portal. And I always said this is why I respect Miller Moss too. I've always been for the portal, right? I'll say, guys who get caught in the wash, they don't get an opportunity, and they want to get a chance to play college football. Maybe they could go somewhere and play college football and get a start somewhere. That's Miller Moss. He's caught in the wash. New coach comes in. They bring in a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback. He never really get an opportunity to start. But listen to this, kids. If you stay patient, your time will come. He stayed patient. His time is here. Leading into that, let's talk about this Holiday Bowl. And I know there's a lot of question marks. And I'm going to say something that's really out of character for me. But I'm not expecting a win. But I will, in this case, in this game, I will accept a moral victory. And when I say that, it's unfortunate because Louisville is a damn good football team, and I'm not taking anything from Louisville. I respect Ron English. I respect Brome, their coach. Like, these are all great coaches, guys who've put in all their hard work, and Louisville's had a great season. It's unfortunate that SC and Louisville got the draw against each other because this is an elevated evaluation. This is week 3 NFL preseason for USC. Right? Full roster evaluation. They're going to see what guys deserve to play. They're going to see where they need to go finish out in the portal. They're probably going to see where they need to recruit to get some depth. If I'm Lincoln Riley, if I'm D'Anton Land, if I'm everybody on the staff, I'm completely happy that I'm in this situation because I get a legit evaluation. And when I say a legit evaluation, it's not spring football evaluation against ourselves where it's not full speed. It's not fall ball evaluation where it's against ourselves at full speed. This is against another team, Division I athletes. Yeah, good team who played in their conference championship and took
Notre Dame.
Spanked Notre Dame. Took an undefeated team down to the wire, right? Played as hard. They play like Oregon State, right? They play hard. They're going to hit you. Their defense is amazing. So this is a true test. If Miller Moss goes out tomorrow night, those for 302 touchdowns. Our boy Sam Hunt, right? Sam Hunt's the country singer. I'm sorry.
Will Howard?
Will Howard. I don't know why I have Sam Hunt in my mind.
It's a great singer. Great music. Maybe we'll listen to some Sam Hunt on the drive down. Maybe that's
we could do that, definitely. Well, I don't know why I have Sam Hunt on my mind. Anyway, Will Howard might think that, all right, I need to come in here. This spot ain't mine. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I said this is a cliffhanger. We could have competition created tomorrow Going to the spring, who's going to be the starter? Going to the fall, who's going to be the starter? I love nothing more than you don't know who the starter is going into the season because it's hard to game plan against what you're going to see.
Yep.
I think it's a great test. So if we don't win, I'm good with it. But if we go out there, we see dudes like, oh, he's going to be good. He's going to be good. That's where you need fixes, and that's where you need plugs and fills. It's week 3 preseason. That's exactly what it is. What do you feel about tomorrow night? Miller Moss, everything. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, starting with Miller Moss, and then I'll work back to just expectations for the whole game. I actually just published an article on LAFBnetwork.com about Miller Moss. If anyone wants to go check that out, shameless plug, LAFBnetwork.com. But you said everything. He's a true Trojan. Been through it. Been seen. Jack, he's here with Keaton Slovis. Jackson Dart transferred out, sat behind Caleb Williams. Had to watch Malachi Nelson come in as a top heir apparent 5-star. Now he's gone. I loved how last week in practice he was asked about his future and basically said, regardless of who transfers in, he plans to still be a USC Trojan next year. So just it's cool to see, and it's so rare in today's day and age. So all Trojan fans are rooting for him, hoping he goes out and balls out. But in terms of just, the business side of it and what this does, here's one thing too, Coach, that, because it's kind of a benefit in a way that Will Howard, Cameron Ward, any of these remaining top quarterbacks haven't officially committed yet. And I don't know if it's on their end or if it's on USC holding out officially either announcing or signing them. But you got to think about in this day of NIL, any of those quarterbacks are going to command a large amount of NIL. Cameron Ward, obviously, a lot more. There's been reports of over $1 million. Will Howard's probably in that 500 to 800,000 range is what USC is going to have to pay him in a way. If Miller Moss, and it's only one game, but if Miller Moss goes out and balls out tomorrow night with a lesser cast around him, no Marshawn Lloyd, no Brendan Rice, no Lake McCree, who got injured, unfortunately, last week, no Jude Wolfe, no Mario Williams, who's transferring. If he goes and balls out and even loses, but just shows that he can command the offense, can create some explosive plays, just looks to fit the mold of USC quarterback, it could give this coaching staff and Lincoln Riley some confidence like, okay, this is our quarterback of the future. They're still going to have to add to the room, but they don't have to go pay for a premium for one of these guys. They can go add a lesser, and it sounds respectful, but a cheaper quarterback to add to the room that, can at least give you some starts or whatever.
Here's a political way to say it. They could go build depth.
There you go. They can go build depth for cheaper and then use that money and allocate towards other positions in need, whether they want to just throw more at the defensive side of the ball with some big name guys that are still available, add to the receiving room that they may need to do, whatever it may be, or even just in incoming freshmen, add to that class. As Lincoln Riley said, they're going to add more to that as well, as they have 20 commits at the moment. So it's a huge opportunity, not just for Miller Moss to go and prove that he's the guy, but also for this program to be able to pivot a bit and say, you know what, he is the guy. We don't have to go commit, because let's be real, if they go and pay, and I know people don't like talking about this, but this is the truth of college football now. If they go and pay $800,000 to $1 million for a Will Howard, it's going to be really hard for them not to start him, just because you're putting that much money up. I'm not saying Lincoln Riley will do that. I think he truly, maybe I'm one of the few, but I truly believe he will play the best player. And so if Miller Moss beats him out in spring, I think he'll do that. But it's a tough pill that if you're paying that for a guy to be backup when you could have paid that to someone else at another position. So, I mean, it's just a huge opportunity for Miller Moss. So before I get into the expectations of the games, just what's your thoughts on that, since we didn't really discuss that at all?
No, I agree. Like that's why I said, like, tomorrow's going to show if it's going to be a quarterback competition, right? I could agree 100% with you. It does change the value of the contract, right? And then like we'll start seeing, like, when we start getting with the Desai guys, and we'll start talking about guys. You're going to hear me say this a lot. Why would I pay that price and I could get him at a later round? Like, I could get him for a better value. I don't care what everybody else says. Like, that's where he is. That's where his value is. So if I could get Will Howard, for example, let's say, because he's a middle of America kid, it might not be about the money for him. It might be the opportunity. Let's say we do get a Will Howard. Why would I pay $500,000 after, let's say tomorrow, Miller Moss goes off? They lose by 3. Miller Moss throws for 300, 3 touchdowns, has a 65 to 70% completion rating. That's very good. All he has is Taj Washington, but he does have come on, man, the big receiver. I can't remember his name. I'm having a brain fart. I'm a big fan of him. Nope. I tell him to go play baseball. I say he should go be a baseball
Deuce
player.
Robinson?
Deuce. He has Deuce Robinson, right? This could be a come out game for Deuce. Like, there's a bunch of stuff that could happen. Now you start to sit back and think like, okay, it's not Caleb, and we know it's not Caleb, but this is Miller Moss, and this is a different style of offense that we're going to see, but this is going to be a productive offense, right? So now you start to think like, well, hey, Will, remember when we offered you that 750? Some things happened and we started to look around. We just signed 2 big time DBs. Are you willing to take 300? You know what I mean? Like,
to come compete.
Yeah. You're coming to compete now, and maybe if you do compete, we could talk about negotiations later. But so like I say, it's the value of the guy. Miller Moss isn't asking for money. Miller Moss is asking to be a Trojan. I'll take 18 Miller Mosses because you need some knuckleheads. I'll take 18 Miller Mosses on the field, right? And I'll take half the rest that's left. I'll take 22? So there's only 4 left. I'll take 2 in the middle, and I'll take 2 knuckleheads on each side. I got a championship team, right? Right? So it's just the value of it. It's where the value lies. And so I'm hoping that this creates a competition. I hope it starts to, I want the conversations like, oh boy, what's SC going to do now? Right. And I will say this, because neither one of them are officially Trojan yet. It shows Will Howard and Cam Ward's character. Are they willing to come in and compete and trying to take a starting spot? Or do they just want to be handed the starting spot? That's the question that needs to be asked.
Yeah. Well, that and the last thing I'll say on that, and this is just my opinion. I'm not sitting in the room with Lincoln Riley, but I also think it would show, if we get to that point, that Lincoln believes and he doesn't want to pursue others because he believes in Miller Moss. Because I truly believe, for all his faults on other sides of the ball, or whatever, when it comes to quarterback, if he wants someone, he can get him. Because look at his track record. Starting next season in the NFL, 4 of the 32 quarterbacks played for Lincoln Riley. I mean, that is an unbelievable clip that 4 out of 32 NFL starting quarterbacks played for Lincoln Riley in college. And so that, if you're going to a quarterback and saying, do you want to have a chance for a championship, play for an amazing school and an amazing campus in the best city in the world, and you're going to go and be an NFL quarterback probably when it's all said and done, like, who's going to say no to that for an extra $250K? Like, are you kidding me? So to me, it would almost signify that he's saying, like, we're good here. Like, we found our guy. We'd love to bring someone else in, but we're not going to beg them to come, because if I was begging him, he would come. He would be here already. If not, we're good. So I don't know. I just think that signifies that too.
As the great words of my man Mace said, more money, more problems.
Yes, sir. Especially when you're 18, 19, 20, 21.
Yeah, like so. And here's the thing, though, and I'll get back to your expectations, and I'm gonna go off on this tangent because I face this problem too.
Rant.
The problem with the money is not yours, and this is the problem I have with NIL. Right, the money is not his, and when I say that, you give an 18-year-old $500,000, you have 32 family members asking for that $500,000. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's the biggest problem. And the problem with an 18-year-old is they don't know how to say no yet. All my friends that I knew that went to the NFL, up front, they'll tell you, man, my biggest problem was I didn't know how to say no when I was a rookie. I didn't know how to say no at year 2. They had to learn how to say no. These kids don't know how to say no. Auntie comes, hey, can you look out for me? That's why the worst scene, and a lot of people are going to hate me for this, the worst scene in the NFL draft is when a kid gets drafted and there's 30 people behind him. Because it's not that kid made it, it's we made it. But they didn't go to practice. They didn't wake up at 5:00 in the morning. The best scene is when you see the kids and it's his girlfriend. And at that time, you're young in love. I get it. It's your girlfriend there. It's your mom and dad. And it's maybe a few family members. 12 people. That's the best scene. The 30 people, your auntie that you talk to once a holiday, and all of a sudden she's asking you for money. The cousin that you only see on the holiday, that's supposedly now your favorite cousin, he's going to start asking for money. You got friends who's going to ask you for money. You got the high school trainers who feel like they owe you. All you high school trainers out there, stop asking those kids for money. You're doing that out of the kindness of your heart. You're doing that so they can advance and get better. They don't owe you anything. Honestly, these kids don't owe their parents anything. To be 100% honest, because their goal as a parent is to put your kid in a better situation than you. That's the problem, the biggest problem with NIL. So you're talking about all of a sudden giving an 18-year-old $500,000. He's only going to see 10,000 of it. No lie. He'll see 10,000 of that $500,000. The rest of it, the other 490,000 is going to end up with family because now he has to take care of everybody. That's the burden that weighs on that. That's my rant. I'm sorry about that. I was actually thinking about that today in traffic. So
it's true, man. It's true. Have you seen Cameron Fountain's mom? He's a commit, 2024 commit, edge kid out of Georgia, 4-star. He's gonna be great. Commit to SC. His mom's like super active on Twitter. Have you seen her?
I have not
at all.
I have not.
So she's I've started following her because she's very outspoken, and during the time of the overturn of Coach Grinch, she was very like, we're committed to SC 100%, blah blah blah. And so she's a few times come out and said like the amount of money we and others have been offered is unreal, but like we're committed to not a quick paycheck, but the future. That's why we're going to USC. Like she's basically saying like, we're going to USC because it's the right for my son. It's right for him for his future goals, not just his tomorrow goals of, getting a quick paycheck in NIL. And it just speaks to kind of that when you need to have that true foundation and sometimes a smaller foundation pushing you to this, not to just take the big paycheck so everyone can get paid right now, but knowing that 4-year degree at USC means a whole lot more than $500K today, or that 4-year degree at USC national title plus an NFL paycheck means a whole lot more than taking a quick paycheck today. So I always, if you can find her, I'll send you her, but I mean, she's great. Yeah. She's like the true Trojan mother already, which is awesome to see.
Maybe we should have her come on. I'll ask her to come on.
You should. Yeah.
I'll ask her to come on. No, but like that's serious. You're a Trojan for life. And a lot of people don't understand that. Like you're legit a Trojan for life. Even if you never went to school with that person, you see somebody say, hey, you went to USC. They'll be like, yeah, you go fight on Trojan. They go fight on you with there. You start talking like every time you see my parents' neighbor went to SC. She's older than me. Now every time she sees me, hey, how you doing? I don't even live there. And she treats me like I'm the neighbor. So, I mean, SC is just a whole different thing. But yeah, sorry I went off on that tangent. But that
good.
A lot of people need to understand that part too about the money. Like you really don't need $1 million. You only need about $40,000. $40,000 and you have no bills is a lot of money. That's all you really need. Like it's getting greedy now. Just being honest with you. Like if I had $40K a year while I was in college, I'll be rich. I have no bills. So that's the thing to talk about. All right, back to you. Sorry to disrupt the class. What are your expectations for tomorrow night?
Yeah, no, it was great. And yeah, I was in New York just to speak to your Trojan for life. Not that I went to USC. I always try to admit that. Unfortunately, I did not. I went to Long Beach State, go Beach. What's up? But when I was in New York City just last week and walked by a guy wearing a Trojan sweatshirt, just gave him the old fight on. And it was yo, what up? Fight on. Let's go. Let's get the Holiday Bowl. So it was cool. All the way across the country, New York, saw a Trojan out there. But, no expectations. I'm in line with you. Like, I think what makes this game fun, Coach, is I think most people, for sure me, but I think most people don't have any expectations. Like last year against Tulane, it was the big letdown that they lost to Utah, had a shot for the college football playoff, but you still get a New Year's Six Bowl. Cotton Bowl, obviously doesn't seem as prevalent as a college football playoff, but it's still New Year's Six. You're going against Tulane, a smaller school, so everyone's like, okay, it's going to be a blowout. And then to lose that game was probably like the worst possible scenario. You miss it on the college football playoff, and then you lose to Tulane, who is a good football team. Like, I'm not taking anything away against Coach Fritz and Tajay Spears and all those players, but USC should never be losing to a team like Tulane. This year, obviously, we know how the year went. You go again into this game against Louisville, and it's almost like Louisville's the opposite now. Like this is the worst possible scenario because they're bringing, for the most part, I haven't followed them closely, but I think they're bringing most of their players into this game, haven't lost a ton of the transfer portal, haven't lost a ton of big names that are going to skip the game for the draft. They're the top 15 ranked team in the nation. They were in the ACC championship game, just lost to FSU, and they're going to go against USC that has all these players that have transferred, all these players going to the draft, a whole new defensive coaching staff. And so if they were to either lose this game or come up, or it's a close game, they're the ones that are like, oh man, that's like a lose-lose. So to me, this is a fun eval game, just like you said. We get to see a lot of young guys go. We get to see a lot of freshman receivers. Talk about, obviously, Zachariah Branch. We know how good he is, but we get to see Jacoby Lane probably get a lot more playing time. Hopefully Dorian Singer come out and play well. Taj Washington, who accepted his invitation to the Shrine Bowl, going to the NFL draft, but is still playing this game. I hope he goes for 10 for 200 and shows the world how good he is. And so I think, to me, and defense, we haven't even talked about defense, but it's just going to be a litany of different players. And, the new coaching staff won't be coaching necessarily, but the aura of them will be there. So, I'm just excited. I hope I see them compete. Like you said, stay healthy. And I hope Miller Moss has a great game and can stamp himself as a potential starter next year. So to me, it's more of an exciting opportunity.
That's the key. You set the key right there at the end. Stay healthy. I mean, you can't control injuries, but we'll take an ankle sprain. We'll take, a pulled groin, a dislocated finger. We'll take that. No surgeries. No surgeries from this game. Like, stay healthy. Let's knock on wood. Like, let's get out of here. Let's stay healthy. Let's get to spring ball. And let's just reestablish the foundation. The foundation is cracked. We got to lift it up. We got to report it. Like, it is what it is. The foundation is cracked. Let's start over. Let's get it right, and let's get it done. And that's the best thing you can do, is just to stay healthy and just get out of it healthy. Get a very good eval. You could get this. This is the best film. I guess now that I'm thinking about it, Ryan, the Trojans are in the best situation possible because they're in a complete evaluation period.
Yep.
And they could get the best film for evaluation that they could possibly get
against a top 15 defense.
Yep. Against and Louisville's ranked, right? They're ranked.
They're ranked top 15, and they're the 16th ranked defense.
Yep. And they're ranked number 16. So this is excellent film you could get. You talk about measure. You're going to find out. In 24 hours, you're going to find out. And I also like the way that Lincoln Riley brought them out last night. They came last night, I believe, or 2 nights ago. Like, they've been practicing at home, came 2 nights ago. They're not sleeping in a hotel for multiple weeks. Like, they're in and out. Like, this is not where we belong. Like, we're not going to make fun of this. Like, we're just going to go, do what we have to do, and get out. So, I am excited to see these youngsters play. I can't wait to get a good evaluation. We'll be there watching it from the booth. We got the best view, one of the best views in the whole stadium. We'll be able to watch this whole thing. And to me personally, I think I'm just going to take notes. Like, I'm going to bring the roster, try to take some notes, and then we can evaluate it from there, especially because we haven't even started on the roster breakdown for the defense yet. Yeah. So we could, right? We were supposed to start with the DBs, and we haven't even got to the DBs yet. So this will give us a great opportunity and a great chance to see where everybody really is and where they need to be. What do you think?
Yeah, 100%. Like, I'm really excited for it. And, at Petco Park, how fun is it to have a football game at Petco that we're going to be at? So that's going to be a blast. Let me ask you this before we wrap up, because I feel like we haven't totally talked about it. But based on, National Signing Day was last week on Wednesday. Lost one who you coached, Ryan Pelham, out of Lincoln.
Yep.
Yeah. Real quick, speak on that. How was he as a player? You said he coached him.
He's great. I coached him as a sophomore. And he was a game changer as a sophomore. He was great. Like, the ball in his hands, you hold your breath. He's taking off. Great kid. I liked him as a kid. He did everything you asked. We needed him to play safety. He came over, learned how to play safety. And he's just a baller. He's just an overall athlete. He's just a baller. When I was there, I was telling him, like, man, SC's the spot for you to go. SC's the spot for you to go. And then he's like, nah. When I was there, SC wasn't even in his list. And then he committed to SC. And, like, me and his brother are actually friends. So I hit his brother up. I was like, yep, I knew it. My job's done. And then when he made the flip, I haven't talked to him since he made the flip. But I mean, at the end of the day, I don't care because for me, any kid that I talk to, I tell them go where you feel is best for you and go what feels like home. If it was up to me, I will want you to go to SC. But I'm not going to make a kid that asks me for advice goes to SC just because I went to SC. That might not be the best fit for him. So if he felt like Oregon was the place for him to go and he felt like he could see, congratulations, go to Oregon. Now, do I wish he would have stayed at SC? 100%. But me, I know him on a personal level. I know that kid. Like, I wish nothing but the best for him. It sucks that we have to defend him, but at the end of the day, like I'm proud of him. He has a chance. He has a ton of upside. So, congratulations, Ryan, bro. I'm not upset about it. Everybody else could be upset about it, and that's the recruiting game. How many people flipped their recruits and went to SC? Wasn't like 3 of them that flipped?
Earlier in the process, and there's still some being worked on,
Right. So it ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun, right? It changes when people flip on us, but then when we have people flip, it's we stole somebody. It's the game. That's why it doesn't upset me. I understand. Trust me, Ryan. Do you know how many times? I thought I had a kid locked in, and I'll tell the head coach, "Yep, he's locked in, coach. He's ready to go." Everybody's talking to him, "Coach, I'm committed. Coach, I'm committed." And Division II, there is no early signing day. It's pretty much from February, the first Tuesday in February, the National Signing Day, all the way up until a week before camp starts. So we're grinding that whole time. But there's times like, Coach, I got him locked in. He's locked in. He's ready to go. All right, let's have one more phone call with him. Okay. Yeah, Coach, I'm good. I'm committed. Yep. All right. And then you get to that last week of January, and then it comes to that first Tuesday. Coach, he ain't answering the phone. He answers. I don't know what happened. Somebody else call him, and you have somebody else call him, and they be like, yeah, Coach, yeah. I'm sorry, I've been busy. I'll call you back. And then they stop answering that phone call. Like, so it's just it's the game. That's the tough part. And I will tell you this. I can't say it the way we said it in the office, but girlfriends, you cannot out recruit a girlfriend. Put it like that. If the kid's in love and he has a girlfriend and they're going to a school somewhere like that, you can't. Nope. That is the undisputed champion in recruiting. They run recruiter of the year in every conference. You can't out recruit a girlfriend.
Well said.
So
you better hope that lasts. You better hope that relationship lasts.
It doesn't, but it is what it is. It never does.
It never does.
But, so with the Ryan Pellet thing, like I've been there. Like I said, I've had kids locked down. Like, Coach, he's locked down. Come on visits. Parents love him. Talk to the parents. We don't offer full scholarships, but we always package the scholarship right. Like, hey, does this dollar amount work for you? Can we get $1,500 more? Yep. I'll get you $1,500 more. I'll work and we'll get the $1,500 more. Does this work for you? This is what you asked for? Yep. All right, Coach, we're in. You can't stay in contact, and then all of a sudden, that last week of January, they fall off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
It's the game.
And I mean, that's I think what happened. And I don't want to, Ryan, I have never met him. And this isn't a bad thing. I mean, this is just human nature. But it seems like it was a last minute, like big NIL push from Oregon, who, has bigger checkbooks in the NIL game right now, which I want to end the show with, because I want to ask you that. But yeah, I always have a soft spot for Long Beach kids. Obviously I went to Long Beach State, you went to Long Beach Poly. So I'm always bummed, or if he went to Milliken, and bummed to see him flip. But SC has Xavier Jordan in the commitment class out of Sierra, and he was, not that ratings mean everything, but higher rated. I know they're really excited about him, and so they at least do get still a really highly touted wide receiver recruit. They've got some great young talent, so it wasn't an end all be all. It's just always a bummer to see. But as it stands right now, with 20 commits in this class, or I think 21. Just your thoughts overall on this recruiting class as it stands right now, and just the offseason. Because I feel like we haven't totally, and we don't have a ton of time, so we can be quick. But just what's your overall summation of kind of this offseason based on what's transpired from the Alex Grinch firing to where we are heading to the Holiday Bowl?
Where do we finish in the rankings?
Right now we're 20.
20. I'll take 20.
20 in recruiting, 11 in transfer portal right now. It's going to change still, though.
All right, I'll take 20. I'll take 20 in recruiting because recruiting was tough up front with the Alex Grinch situation, but there's chances. The fact that I like that they signed 21 kids, that means that they're building. Is the 21 include the portal kids?
No, so it's 20 recruiting and then 8 transfers, so 28 total at the moment.
So 20 kids is about, when I play, was about a basic class for signing day. And being ranked number 20, that's not bad. I mean, we need to start moving up, but I'm willing, Jamal's going to kill me for this, but I'm willing to say we're starting over here. We have to admit we're starting over. This is a complete rebuild. And I know it's year 3, but this is a complete rebuild. So for it to be a rebuild and for them to be number 20 in a rebuild is not bad. Now, next year, we got to start being in the top 10, and then eventually we need to get to the top 5. But they went and got, this is what I do like. They went and got a lot of big guys up front. That's one thing I did notice. They got a lot of offensive linemen, then when they got a lot of defensive linemen. We do need to start recruiting California more. A lot of them from out of state. And there's one thing that you need to deal with, and the transfer portal helps. Homesickness is a real thing. You know what I mean? Homesickness is a real thing. And so if you get a kid that's not playing and he's redshirt and he's like, man, I miss home. I could go back and play at Georgia Southern and my mom could drive and watch me play. I'm only 6 hours away from home compared to a flight. You know, so it's harder to keep them. It's hard to get them there. It's harder to keep them. So, but we need to start moving up gradually before rebuild. For a rebuild year, I'll take 20. I'm not upset about it. I'll take 20.
Yeah, I still fully believe they're going to move up higher because, you know, there's still a lot of kids out there that haven't signed. Transfer portal, they'll move into the top 5. They're 11 right now, but they're going to get, especially if we'll want to win an AF. I know we talked about it all with Miller Moss, but if and when Will Howard signs, they'll jump from 11 to probably 7 or 8 just with that signing. But, you know, at 20, here's what I'm most excited about. And, you know, that number you want to see higher, but what do we see with these transfers out, right? Malachi Nelson, Raleek Brown, Damani Jackson, Corey Foreman, all 5-star recruits that were minimal to zero impact on this team, and they're all leaving. But you look at them as a recruiting class, they were a top class. Zero impact on what these Trojans did. You can blame a number of factors, but that's just the fact of it. They had zero impact or negative impact when you look at Damani Jackson this year, unfortunately. So the recruiting is important. When you're a top flight program like USC, yes, you should finish top 10. But when I just look at these players and what this Lincoln Riley and D'Anton Lynn are trying to build now with this new kind of motivation, and I know I'm always the glass half full guys, so I know I look at it a little differently, but they've gone after guys now that fit that bill. Like you see the late additions to this class in Abasari, who flipped from Minnesota. When you look at Cowan, who joined late. I know they're 3-star guys, but they're big body defensive linemen. I mean, you're talking about 18-year-old kids that are 6'4", 6'5", pushing like 280. I mean, those are 18-year-old kids that you're going to eventually get close to 300. And so they're committing to that size discrepancy going to the Big Ten. And the other thing, I know we talked about throughout the year about overhauling the coaching staff in totality. I've been a big fan of Josh Hansen, who's the offensive line coach. I think he does. The offensive line this year obviously was not good, but you look at last year where they had, I mean, it was a continuity of guys that have been there for a long time. This year, you basically had an entire fresh new starting 5. I know Dedich had been there before, but he moved from guard to center. In these 2 years that Hansen's been here now, he's recruited 10 offensive linemen. So 2 classes, 5 offensive linemen each. Going the next year, you have a sophomore class and an incoming freshman class that is eventually going to build that offensive line up, which I know you're big on. You got to build that offensive line, and you want to have 2-3 year starters down the line, and that's what they've built. So you look at that class, 10 offensive linemen in 2 classes, all big guys. So I'm really impressed with that. So I think overall, 20, you want to see that ranking go higher. I think it will end up higher when it's all said and done. Probably won't be top 10, but it'll probably be top 15 when it's said and done, which you still want to see it higher overall. But based on who they've gotten, I'm really pleased with what they've done.
Yeah, that, like I said, it's a rebuild. So I'll take 20. I thought it was lower, actually, but I'm not complaining if they did 20 and they're 20-11. That's pretty good. I mean, at the end of the day, we could be number 99 like Colorado, right, Candace?
Hey, they're one in transport. They're one in transfer portal, but we'll see if that
Nah.
changes anything.
They're one. Let's not get on that. We'll leave that alone. All right, good deal. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm excited for tomorrow. We'll be at the game tomorrow. If you guys see us, stop by, say hello. Don't forget to stop by Stone Brewery while you're down in San Diego. Also, get you a fight on Pale Ale. The perfect time. Holiday Bowl, San Diego, Stone Brewery fight on Pale Ale. Go get it and get you that. Don't forget to go to underdogfantasy.com or in the Google store or the App Store. Get you some picks in, any 2 picks, and then you put in USC LAFB. You get a $100 match bonus. And you guys will be set and ready to go. Ryan, I am excited about the game tomorrow. We get to see some football in person again. Last game, I went to the Rams game when they played 2 weeks ago. They was about to give the game back to them. Who did the Rams play 2 weeks ago?
The Browns?
Was it the Browns? Nope. It was the Commanders.
Commanders, okay.
I went to the Rams and the Commanders game, yeah.
It's all blending together.
Yeah. But last game I was at, though, last SC game I was at, I was there with you. So
San Jose State, yeah.
Yep, we get to hang out again. So that should be fun. Hopefully get the Madman there. Say hello to us. We'll take a picture. We'll do all the good stuff. If you're really nice, Ryan will sign an autograph for you because he's the legendary Ryan Dyroom.
It's not worth anything. So you don't want that.
Definitely. We appreciate you guys, Ryan. I appreciate you. See you guys tomorrow. Live free. Fight on.